Hey, Rumbug World Entertainment, and in this video I thought we should just break down a little bit the D-Rex from Jurassic World Rebirth, because this thing, the main question you have for it is, well, what the hell was the point? And what I mean by that is, what was the point in having it all over the marketing, all the posters, everything like that, having it in the movie when it's actually barely in the movie? Now, this video will contain some mild spoilers because it has to, for the fact that this thing only shows up at the very start of the movie and the very end of the movie. To the point that by the time it reappears at the end of the movie, you forgot that this thing is even a part of it. Even though, once again, it is absolutely all over the marketing. So, of course, what is it? What is the D-Rex? Well, we're not actually even quite sure, because they, for some reason, took it upon themselves not to actually explain what this thing is. The only thing we are told somewhat, it's more alluded to than them directly telling you as the audience, is that the thing is meant to be lethal. That being said, that's all we're told. Now, by the looks of it, and from what Gareth Edwards and other people with the movie have said, is that it's basically a cross between a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a Xenomorph, and a Rancor from Star Wars. Now, you can see a bit of the T-Rex in it. It's got kind of the eye structure and a bit of the snout, only that the snout is shortened. That's it. That's the only part of it that's actually somewhat noticeable. Again, that's the T-Rex. All the rest of it is just like, okay. But again, they don't actually specifically tell you it's a cross between a Tyrannosaurus Rex and this, and this. You're not told what this thing is. You're barely shown it in the movie either, even when it does show up. So, of course, it shows up at the beginning. Everything you've seen with this thing, by the way, is in the trailers. But that opening scene of the guys getting stuck in the room with it and stuff like that, when the whole facility shuts down thanks to a Snicker bar wrapper, is where you first get your glimpse of this thing. It basically picks the guy up, kind of turns him upside down and walks away and eats him. That's it. That's all you see of it until the end of the movie. And this thing shows back up, just randomly kind of wandering past people. The only new information we're given about this thing is, oh, it's attracted to light, even though it seems to be attacking people without light, directly contradicting the beginning of the movie. So if you're being told, oh, it only attacks light, well, how and why did it know to attack the guy at the door at the start of the movie? Because it literally walks past the little girl. And that's not like, oh, well, maybe it was here and it didn't know. No, she runs over to a control pad and this thing walks up and just walks right by her. And you're like, oh, is this thing meant to be like a T-Rex that it doesn't see unless you move? No, because we are told later that, oh, quick, turn off the lights. It's attracted to light. Again, contradicting the start of the movie. But the fact that this thing shows up in all of the marketing, like it's meant to be highlighted as, ooh, this is the big bad vicious dinosaur of this movie. And it shows up twice. It only, by the way, it only eats one person, and that's our so-called villain of the movie. And it's like, oh, okay. It literally just walks in, roars a bit, and walks off. And it's like, wow. Why was that thing all over the marketing? It makes no sense, and I cannot wrap my head around what was even the point of having that thing in there. Now, when you look at Jurassic World and this other two movies that followed it, you were given all these new dinosaurs. Now, I can't remember which one is the Indominus Rex. Is that the one from Jurassic World, or is that the laser guided one in the second one? I can never remember which one is which. Either way, it was dumb when you start being introduced to these things. But the one thing that they did do with them is they very much went, well, these are the new dinosaurs that we're going to use in these movies. Have at it. They are going to be the big threat. That's going to be the thing you're running from for the entire movie. The fact that the D-Rex is highlighted in all of the trailers and marketing for Rebirth, and it doesn't end up being that way, again, you have to ask, well, why is it even in here? It doesn't give you any answers. We're not told why this movie has this thing in here. We're not told what it is, how it became to be. By the way, I said in my reviews, the reason they don't destroy these genetic freaks, which, by the way, the reason they are not brought to the island is because they're deemed either too scary or too hideous to look at. So that's why they're not brought to the island. But the reasoning behind why they're not just destroyed is because apparently it costs in and around $75 million to create each dinosaur. And how are you supposed to explain to your lenders that you've spent $75 million on something you ended up just destroying, as opposed to spending the $75 million on something you're never going to see because it's now on a quarantined island that no one goes to? Makes no sense, really, does it? But when you're thinking of, okay, you're highlighting this thing, you're making it this big mystery, ooh, this thing's gonna be vicious, and then it's not in the movie. It almost feels like they even forgot that they had this thing in the movie. It really is one of those, like, did you not know how to use it, or what's going on? Like, how did you have this thing all over your marketing? It's on your posters, it's here, it's there. There's action figures of this thing, and it's on screen for a total of probably about 6 to 7 minutes, if even that amount of time. It's on the screen for about 30 seconds at the start of the movie, and whatever amount of time by the end. Again, every scene with this thing you've seen in the trailer. It does nothing, and it literally does nothing. It's not beaten. Like, they don't have another dinosaur show up and eat it. It doesn't show up to eat another dinosaur to save them. It literally just wanders in like the Tyrannosaurus, or the Derposaurus Rex, as people have been calling this thing. Wanders around like a giant retard. Does nothing. Eats one guy that's meant to be the villain, who basically actually as well did nothing wrong in the movie, and wanders off. And it's like, wow, they really, like, were pushing this thing, and it's in the movie for like that amount of time to do nothing. What was the point? That would be like if the original Jurassic Park was promoted all over the place with the T-Rex and Raptors, and you watched that movie and it ended up the T-Rex was in the movie for 5 seconds and the Raptors were in it for 2 minutes. You'd be asking the same question. You'd be saying, well, what was the point in putting that thing in there? Why is this dinosaur thing absolutely all over the marketing if you weren't going to use it? Literally, you have to be answering this question. Unless there was a hell of a lot more of it and they just cut it out thinking, you know what, it looks a bit too stupid. It really does look just like a retarded dinosaur. You can't use that. And they pulled back on it. Maybe they got nervous and pulled back on it and went, we better use something else. And that's why we got these fly raptor, the Mutadons, or whatever the hell they were called. But again, the D-Rex, or the Disorus Rex, or whatever the hell it was actually called, yeah, it made no sense for this thing to be highlighted so much in all the marketing when it's not in the movie all that much. And I wonder if you could actually push for false advertising with that, because it's like, well, you've plastered it all over the marketing. You've made this thing highlighted as, this is the dinosaur everyone's going to be running from for this movie. And the fact that it's not in it, it's like, oh, okay, so that wasn't even the threat. What was the threat? Well, as I said in my reviews, the majority of this movie is spent in the water, so it's the Spinosaurus and the other massive one. That's it. That's really what your threat was. The main threat on the island, when they eventually get on there, which is over an hour before they get onto the island in the movie, is the Mutadon. So again, that thing, the D-Rex, is the end of the movie and the beginning of the movie. Why is it even in the movie if you weren't going to use it? Makes no sense. But if you've seen the movie, do you agree that there was no point to have that thing in there? If you haven't seen the movie, but now you know that the thing is basically the start and finish. Does that change your mind about whether or not you were going to see it, thinking, well, that thing is meant to be the big bad, and it's not in there, really, and does nothing? Do let me know, because I am curious to see what people's reactions are to the D-Rex. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.